And you're live.
Here we go.
Good evening. My name is Kevin O'Connor. I am the Chief Executive Officer of the Albany County Capital Resources Corporation, also known in this document as the issuer. And this is in connection with the project which is the subject of this public hearing. I'm also the public hearing officer for this public hearing, and we are holding this public hearing to allow citizens to make a statement for the record relating to the sponsorship and involvement of the issuer with the project, the proposed project, for the benefit of CIDC Colonie 4 LLC, a New York State limited liability company, the borrower. Christopher C. Canada, counsel to the issuer, will provide the description of the proposed project and the borrower's request for financial assistance, along with further information regarding the purpose of the public hearing, the issuer's legal authority, and the issuer's next step. Once Mr. Canada is finished, I will then open this public hearing up for comments. Mr. Canada.
Thank you, Mr. O'Connor. The proposed project consists of the following: the construction of an approximately 46,000 square foot building and associated parking, collectively the facility, on an approximately 9.52 acre parcel of land located at 886 and 892 Waterville Shaker Road in the town of Colonie, Albany County, New York. The land, and the acquisition and installation thereon and therein of machinery and equipment, the equipment. The facility, the land, and the equipment being hereinafter collectively referred to as the project facility. All of the foregoing to be owned by the borrower and leased to the Board of Cooperative Educational Services of Albany, Schoharie, Schenectady, Saratoga counties, referred to hereinafter as the BOCES, for use as an administrative, educational facility and any other directly and indirectly related activities. The financing of all or portion of the costs of foregoing by the issuance of tax-exempt and/or taxable revenue bonds of the issuer in one or more issues or series in aggregate principal amount sufficient to pay the cost of undertaking the project, together with necessary incidental costs in connection therewith, presently estimated to be approximately $15 million, and in any event not to exceed $18 million. The obligations. Paying a portion of the cost incidental to the issuance of the obligation, including issuance costs of the obligations and any reserve funds as may be necessary to secure the obligations, and D, the making of a loan, the loan of the proceeds of the obligations to the borrower or such other person as may be designated by the borrower and agreed upon by the issuer. For clarification purposes, I would like to state the obligations of the issuer issued with respect to the proposed project will not be obligations of the state of New York or any municipality thereof, including Albany County, New York, the county, municipality for whose benefit the issuer was created. In addition, the obligations of the issuer will not be a general obligation of either the issuer or the county. This means that if the holders and the obligations are not paid by the borrower, the holders of the obligations will not be able to come back against the issuer or the county. The obligations are not an obligation of the county and or the taxpayers of the county. This public hearing is being held by the agency to satisfy the provisions of section 147F of the Internal Revenue Code and section 859-A2 of said general municipal law of the state of New York. The chairperson of the issuer caused notice of this public hearing to be published on April 2nd, 2024 in the Times-Union, a newspaper of general circulation available to the residents of the town of Colonie, Albany County, New York. In addition, the chairperson of the issuer caused notice of this public hearing to be mailed on April 1st, 2024 to the affected tax jurisdictions. The chief executive officer of the issuer also caused a copy of the certified preliminary inducement resolution to be mailed on April 3rd, 2024 to the affected tax jurisdictions. As noted above, the borrower has requested the issuance of tax-exempt and/or taxable revenue bonds with respect to the undertaking of the proposed project. The issuer will consider the borrower's request at a subsequent meeting of the issuer, currently scheduled for May 1st, 2024 at 5:00 p.m. And at such meeting, the issuer will also consider the comments received by the public hearing held this evening. Such meeting, like all meetings of the issuer, are open to the general public. We have made arrangements for a stenographer to be present in order to accurately make a record of the public comments. Copies of the notice of this public hearing are available on the table located in this room. Information regarding the legal authorizations and powers of the issuer and the legal requirements and procedures regarding this public hearing will be inserted in the stenographic record, which is attached to this public hearing script as Schedule A. Pursuant to Section 147F of the Internal Revenue Code as amended, if any portion of the obligations is intended to be issued as federally tax-exempt obligation, the interest on which will be excluded from gross income of the holders thereof for federal income tax purposes, that prior to issuing such portion of obligations, A, the issuer must hold a public hearing on the nature of and location of the project facility and the issuance of the obligations, and thereafter the county executive of Albany County, New York must approve the issuance of the obligations. The purpose of this public hearing is to solicit public comment with respect to the issuer's involvement with the project. We are not here to answer questions, although in the course of the hearing, we will consider questions if we have the information to answer the question, and there is sufficient time to consider such questions. Further, questions or comments regarding the environmental, planning, zoning, design, and related issues regarding the project are outside the scope of this public hearing. Lastly, general comments regarding capital resource corporations are not relevant to this public hearing. As previously stated, copies of the notice of this public hearing are available on the table located in this room. Now, unless there is any objection, I'm going to suggest waiving the full reading of the notice of this public hearing and instead request that the full text of the notice of the public hearing be inserted into the public record of this public hearing. The comments received today at this public hearing will be presented to the members of the Board of Directors of the issuer at or prior to the meeting currently scheduled for May 1st, 2024, at which meeting the members of the Board of Directors of the issuer will consider whether to approve the undertaking of the proposed project by the agency and the granting by the agency of the financial assistance. The notice of this public hearing indicated that written comments could be addressed to Gary Demolowitz, Chairman of the issuer. No written comments have been received by the issuer prior to this public hearing. We will keep the comment period open until 5:00 p.m. on April 30th, 2024. Any comments received by such time will be included in the record to be considered by the issuer. I will now return the floor to Mr. O'Connor for the purpose of recognizing any representatives from the borrower and any citizens in attendance wishing to make a public comment.
Thank you, Mr. Canada. I'd first like to acknowledge the presence of the staff to the Albany County Capital Resources Corporation, Ms. Rosemary McHugh, and a representative from the Columbia Development Companies, Ms. Deborah Lambeck. I will now introduce Joe Dragone, who is appearing on behalf of the borrower and who will describe the proposed project in further detail. Joe?
Great, thank you, Kevin. I don't really want to have anything first.
Sure.
You sure?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you. We're proposing to expand our training center with about approximately 46,000 square feet of training space, which will serve adult and student school-age children throughout our region and regional priorities in workforce training. There's a huge demand with waiting lists for our programs, and there's no question this project will continue to help fuel the workforce pipeline for jobs right in our own backyard in this region, especially in Albany County.
Thank you, Mr. Dragone. And I would just like to add that Mr. Dragone is a respected member of the workforce development community in our region, and we're pleased to be able to have him at this hearing this evening. Ms. Lambeck, any comments you'd like to make?
I just think, as Chris Canada had said, that this is an application for the new BOCES plan for the town of Colonie, 46,000 square feet. The applicant is looking for bonds to be issued at approximately $15 million, and the project costs are about $18 million.
Thank you, Ms. Lambeck. In that there are no other remarks to be made right now, I will now open this public hearing for comment at 6:09 p.m. By way of the operating rules, if you wish to make a public comment, please raise your hand and I will call on you. Please wait to be recognized. Once recognized, please stand and state your name and your address for the record. Please keep your comments to 3 minutes so that all those present today may have a chance to comment on the record. If your comments mirror those of someone who's already spoken, you may so indicate and then relinquish the podium to another speaker so that all views represented at this hearing may be heard. When everybody has had an opportunity to speak, I will conclude this public hearing. As indicated above, a record of this public hearing will be prepared and reviewed by the members of the issuer in connection with the issuer's consideration of the proposed project. Also, as indicated above, a copy of the record of this public hearing will also be presented to the County Executive of Albany County, New York. Again, the purpose of this hearing is to solicit public comment. We are not here to answer questions. However, we will, in the course of this public hearing, consider questions if we have the information to answer the questions and there is sufficient time to consider such questions. I will now ask if there is anyone in attendance who wishes to comment on either on the nature and the location of the project facility or the proposed financial assistance being contemplated by the issuer. with respect to the proposed project, including but not limited to the issuance of the obligations for the purpose of assisting in financing the proposed project. For the record, please state your name and indicate your comment on either the proposed project or the proposed financial assistance being contemplated by the issuer with respect to the proposed project. Since there are no one here to make any comments, we'll keep the hearing open for an additional 15 minutes, just to make sure. I don't believe we have any comments coming from our live stream.
No.
Okay. So we'll just wait for our mandatory 15 minutes. Oh, one other item I would like to enter into the record is the Albany County Capital Resources Commission did have a commission an economic and fiscal impact study, which was performed by Colonie Associates of Saratoga Springs on the subject project. And I would like to enter that into the record as requested by the Capital Resources Commission.
Very technically, we typically do this 15 minutes from the start of the public hearing. So we could go to 6:15 instead of an additional 15 minutes.
Oh, okay. Well, why don't we do that then? This is nobody here and there's nobody online.
Yeah.
Right. So we've got 3 minutes and counting.
That sounds better.
Joe, when is your graduation?
It's a whole bunch of different ones. Adults are into June. We're early in Schoharie because we're doing renovations down there at that facility. I think June 15th are the kids over here.
Over here?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, we did a deal with the TCI guys. We gave them the loan from our
Oh, really?
stage program, yeah, $150,000 for their expansion.
No kidding. No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Just proved that last month. They also speak very highly of you.
Thrilled to hear that.
They
Thank you.
think they usually recruit a person or two every year from their program, right?
A lot, yes. The smart ones always give me 2 a year. Lancaster, I don't know if you know Lancaster Development, they're out in Schoharie County. They're a big partner on our heavy equipment program.
Oh, well,
And he's there every spring, and he's a long-standing partner. He's with the kids all year long. He's like, people don't be good. I said, I take the fruit right from the tree.
Smart.
Watch the kid, we're out there doing blah, 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 blah. And he's like, you want a job? And you want a job?
That's smart.
that's great.
There it is.
They're great. Them, Cal and Ann, I mean, all the big operators, the operators are so in demand.
Yeah.
And other kids go to apprenticeship too. They go with local 102, the operators in Delaware there,
Oh, okay.
on just outside the city, exit 23.
You know, it's just up at Corporate Circle today, and I went past the Carpenters and Joiners Union Building.
Yep.
And I saw that they had to sign up for apprenticeship classes around the back.
Yeah, absolutely. We do a ton. The Carpenters 291 is a huge partner.
Oh, are
We
they?
do a lot with them. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then through them, we work through their mothership, which is the Northeast Carpenters Association. So we do a lot. We do
Yeah.
a lot with them. They're great. They're great.
Yeah.
They have a big woman in the trades program too. So that they like to grab the females and they get right to apprenticeships. It's been
Yeah.
2 years advanced standing to come through our program.
You know what I was thinking about? I was talking to Chief Hawkins, Albany Police Department Chief, and he was telling me he's a horrible, terrible time recruiting. There are actually 75 officers under budgeted. Is it ever given any thought to train kids to become police
do.
officers?
We have a huge criminal justice program. Huge. I have 3 sections in Albany and I have 2 in Schoharie.
Why?
Huge.
What's the disconnect there?
Well, it's not a disconnect. It's just demand is way outpaced anything on the supply side.
Yeah.
You know, if we have 60 kids, which I think is accurate, in our criminal justice program, how many are gonna go to one of the cops in Albany, right? Do you get one? You know, they're going to they'll either go on to Hudson Valley or community college and finish their training. Tons of them want to be state troopers, or they're going to the military, you know, so there's so many, I mean, you can do whatever you want.
Is the trooper like the high-end job?
Yeah,
Lots of them aspire to be
More money,
troopers.
less risk.
Yep, and lots of them aspire to be troopers. But even, pick a trade, you know, they had, I don't know if you saw, I saw it on the news, I couldn't believe it, it's a volunteer firefighters New York big recruitment weekend, and out in Rensselaer County, West Sand Lake, Wine and Skill, a bunch of departments had a big recruitment fair all day long last Saturday.
Well, and
No one came, not one person
But
went.
what's happening
Wow.
is they're recruiting cops from Albany and the other cities because they're already trained. They don't have to pay any training for them.
Yeah,
All right,
that's
why
something
don't we, since there have been no comments, no further comments, I will now close this public hearing at 6:18 PM. And thank you all for attending.
Yes, it's okay. Very good.
Okay,
How's
thanks,
your
everybody.
Very good.
You can get home and
Yeah.
have dinner and
How did you manage to get this done?
I don't know.
I did get some sunlight.